Welcome to Texas Border Watch. I'm Jordan Elder. From immigration to local policy updates to border security, we have all of your week's biggest headlines. We're starting out with casas de cambio, or exchange houses. If you've ever been to the border, you know that these are really common. You can go there and switch out your money as you go from the United States to Mexico. But there's a new federal mandate that has the owners of some of these businesses pretty concerned. Right now, those businesses are having to report transactions more than $200 as part of the new mandate. That is a significant difference from the way it was before, which is reporting transactions over $1,000. Aryami Virhin went to go talk to some of these businesses along the border about how this change is going to impact their operations.
Gracias. Exchanging money and cashing out checks in money businesses or casas de cambio along border cities like Laredo and Eagle Pass is nothing out of the ordinary, but a new federal mandate is causing some concern.
From $250 to $300, that's our average transaction.
Money services businesses, or MSBs, in 7 Texas and California counties must now report cash transactions as low as $200, a significant drop from the previous $1,000 threshold.
And the people from the cartels are not coming here to launder money. It's impossible to do that. There's no way they can.
Mostly working people?
No, working people, the people that work in the garden, like housekeepers, carpenters, the guy from the cement, all the people that comes and work here and go back the next day.
Martinez and 10 other money services businesses filed for a temporary restraining order on FinCEN, or the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, from carrying out their mandate. In court documents, FinCEN used this 21-page report to try and uphold their Geographic Targeted Order, or GTO, aiming to hurt the cartel's drug profits from going south.
They don't want to leave any type of trail in who and where the money is going to. So that's going to be done in a whole different way, either with personal carry or now with the advent of some of these coin-based and dark web type of transactions that are being performed.
Former DEA Deputy Special Agent in charge of the Houston area of operation, which includes part of the Texas border, Antonio Hubbard, questions the effectiveness of the new rules in combating cartel activities.
These money houses and cash transaction places, it's too cumbersome and it leaves too much of a trail.
We gave Hubbard a copy of the report prepared and submitted by FinCEN as evidence in the case. The FinCEN financial trend analysis for illicit proceeds from the sale of fentanyl in part alleges the following. FinCEN claims that this shows how deeply the U.S. financial system is being exploited across fentanyl supply chains. But what stands out to us and to Hubbard is the fact that the report claims that 57% of the reports came from banks, but yet the GTO only covers money services businesses. The report says that the cartels are actively using wire transfers, P2P platforms, and even Bitcoin to move money globally.
Criminals and the cartels, they don't use legalized means to try to launder their proceeds. It's going to be something, a whole lot more inventive, or, in regards to trying to move that type of currency.
The report also shows that the states of Sinaloa and Jalisco, which are known as cartel strongholds, had the highest number of suspicious transactions. Critics argue that these regulations disproportionately affect lower income, largely Latino communities where cash transactions are common and many residents are unbanked.
Our community is a small community on the border. Our community is a little bit more old school still, in the sense of, hey, cash is king, and if you have it in your pocket, that really resonates a lot more than having it in a bank or some crypto exchange, account or any other format. And for that matter, I do think that we need to be careful in some of this federal legislation that is imposed and imposed upon our residents and our constituents, because we do run on cash.
Federal Judge Fred Beery issued in San Antonio a restraining order, but not before saying that he is a skeptic and does not believe the war on drugs will be won by this GTO.
You've got thousands and thousands of people coming across daily. Our largest trading partner is Mexico. If you just go to the Bridge of Columbia and see all of the 18-wheeler choferes, the drivers, if you will, of those 18-wheelers that oftentimes will cash their U.S. checks at these casas de cambio or their American counterparts, you're talking about industry that is wholly going to be affected, not just those businesses, but the consumers along the border.
Hubbard says there has to be a better way than this GTO, which targets those 7 counties in California and Texas, including Eagle Pass and Laredo.
Again, like I said, I understand what the intent is here for the administration. However, it'd be better to get everybody involved from the area, especially in these border areas, to come together and talk about what some of the unintended consequences would be.
A federal judge temporarily halted this order, but we'll let you know when we get a final ruling. This week, we're excited to bring you an inside look from some of the members of the military who were out helping on the border and assisting U.S. Customs and Border Protection. A lot of journalists haven't been able to embed with these units because obviously there's a lot of sensitive information in this operation that they're handling, but each military unit also has public affairs, which is who we have to thank for these videos. So today we're going to show you Task Force Sentinel, which is an Army unit. They conduct aerial reconnaissance operations along the southern border. So that might mean helping Border Patrol track someone down in rough terrain if they're running away from them, an extra set of eyes in the sky, or helping with surveillance. This video that you're about to see is from Sergeant Elijah Ingram.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Alan Neidiger from the California Army National Guard. I'm the commander of 3rd 140th Aviation Regiment and Task Force Sentinel. Task Force Sentinel is made up of soldiers from 3rd of the 140th Aviation Regiment. So the way that works in the Guard is we have this aviation regiment of about 500 people dispersed over 9 states. So we have the headquarters out of California, and then we have units from Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Alaska, and Hawaii, along with some other augmentees that came from other states. We work with the United States Border Patrol. We're a direct support aviation element for them. What happens on a mission is we'll have a Border Patrol agent integrate with the air crew. They'll fly with us, and we're essentially an aerial platform for them. We'll fly where they want us to go and use our camera to look at suspicious activity, and then we'll radio to the Border Patrol agents on the ground, and they will interdict and conduct the law enforcement activities on the ground. It's pretty cool to see all the soldiers come together and jump right into training and operational missions.
El Paso Station is urban, so it's urban, it's mountain. Well, the urban climate is fast-paced to come in, because the city's right there. El Paso is right there, so they get picked up quick. So you got seconds to minutes to catch up. Remote, we got more time, but it's more dangerous because it might be in a risky situation. These people are without water or food for days. That's why we like to have the DoD in strategic places to monitor those remote places.
Our main support here, our main focus is aerial observation and reconnaissance. We have a aircraft with cameras on it. That's called the mission, the MEP, the Mission Equipment Package. But really we're coordinating with the agents on the ground to either help spot potential personnel on the ground or in certain scenarios, keep them bedded down, so to speak. So if they are moving in a difficult terrain, sometimes just having a helicopter overhead, it'll keep people hidden up in a bush or something like that, and give the agents on the ground enough time to complete their mission.
Typically what goes through my head before I get into the bird or we go on mission is just, what am I going to see today? We don't like to see children suffer at the top of the mountain or anything like that. We want to make sure they get help, all that stuff. So that's what goes through my head. You know, we try to get Border Patrol out there as soon as possible. It's not as frequent, you know, which is a good thing. We don't see children often, but when we do, it really kind of hits home because they're just caught up in the mix of everything. Yeah.
it's a difficult scenario because these are real people that are trying to come over here, but we're professionals and we do our job first.
Now we're taking you to Air Station Corpus Christi. These units help with things like tracking down illegal fishing operations, looking for illegal crossing attempts, and then for things like drug smuggling attempts as well. This video was put together by Petty Officer 2nd Class Alejandro Rivera.
So I'm Captain Charlie Wilson. I'm the commanding officer of Coast Guard Air Station Corpus Christi right here at Corpus Christi International Airport. We support all 11 of the Coast Guard statutory missions, significant emphasis here on search and rescue and border security and territorial integrity along the maritime boundary line. Behind me, you've got the HC-144 Bravo Ocean Sentry, and that's our medium-range surveillance and an ISR platform with a bunch of sensors. The heart of the 144 is called the Minotaur Mission System, and it's a system-of-system. Surface search radar, it's electro-optical infrared camera, and then that's overlaid with a whole host of other sensors to really gain maritime domain awareness and know exactly who and where things are moving across the U.S. and Mexico border.
Lieutenant Commander Victoria Martucci, the Command Center Chief here at Sector Corpus Christi. We are a 24/7, 365-day operations center. We handle the command and control. We maintain situational awareness, tasking our assets, putting them on targets. We're coordinating with our interagency partner, contributing towards the mission for border control and territorial sovereignty.
There's a number of threat vectors in South Texas. One of them is over the land border. We work in conjunction with U.S. Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection down there. On the ICW, on the kind of littoral vector, we've got the Intercoastal Waterway, Laguna Madre, used very often for illicit activity. And then on an offshore vector out in the Gulf of America, you've got a number of vectors that either poaching of our natural resources, smuggling of humans, and or smuggling of narcotics. Securing the border is priority number one. So you've got Coast Guard Air Station Corpus Christi out there alongside Sector Corpus Christi, which is our command control, small boat station in South Padre Island, a full host of Coast Guard cutters operating offshore. It's a full court press.
Okay, I want to warn you in advance, this last story is a little bit odd, but it shows you how far people are willing to go to get drugs into the United States. Border Patrol agents in El Paso captured 12 pounds of fentanyl and 0.3 ounces of cocaine this week, and they were being transported by an 18-year-old girl. She is a U.S. citizen and is now facing federal charges, but it's the method that she used that was raising eyebrows. This is a motorized scooter, and this is where all of those drugs were hidden. If you're like me and you're thinking, where could you possibly hide drugs on a scooter like this? The answer is here in the battery pack. Here's a closer look from CBP. This is the battery compartment of that motorized scooter. You can kind of see the packages hidden inside there with the actual mechanics of the scooter. CBP agents flagged this girl because they thought the scooter looked a little bit off, and it turns out they were correct. So again, she is now facing federal charges. That's all for this week's Texas Border Watch. You can read more about any of these stories over on our websites, news4sanantonio.com and foxsanantonio.com.